Yeah, folks, every time I speak with the professor, he tells me that we've had like 200 and 300 and 400 earthquakes in a year. Many of them we don't feel, but recent tremors across the island have reminded us that earthquakes strike without warning. So while we can't stop them, being prepared makes a critical difference. With me now from ODPEM is Mr. Marlon Brown, Northeast Region Coordinator, to walk us through the life-saving steps to take during an earthquake and how to respond if a tsunami warning follows. Oh, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Let me start there. So we have warning signs for a tsunami. What is it, a siren? What is it?
So we do have tsunami warning signs in various communities around the country. We started off with the tsunami system and warning signs in the Old Harbour Bay area, and the people down there are very familiar with the system. They're the ones who actually take care of the system. So we do have sirens, similar to ones you would have seen in overseas, like in Japan or in China, and it makes similar sounds. Yeah. And these are triggered either remotely or manually.
Have we ever had a tsunami in Jamaica? I don't remember hearing that we've had a tsunami in Jamaica.
No, we have not seen where we have had tsunamis in recent history, but histories before that.
That's the sound that it made. That's
right.
That's the tsunami sound.
That's the tsunami sound that you'll hear.
All right, I got it. I got it.
No, I was tempted to run.
I got it.
Right, because once you hear that sound, it means that you must leave.
Or how soon before an expected tsunami with that sound?
Okay, so once there's an earthquake of significant magnitude within maybe the Cayman Trench area or maybe the Puerto Rican Trench, if it's significant, like over 5.6 maybe, then we would get that warning coming from the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center to say earthquake alert, and then it will also give you a tsunami warning at the same time. And that comes to us at ODPEM, Met Office, earthquake unit, and so forth.
And there are different areas where I would hear that, because I think you said St. Catherine or Clarendon.
St. Catherine, Old Harbour Bay.
In Old Harbour Bay. But outside of Old Harbour Bay, there are sirens across the country?
Right. Not the entire country. We are building out that platform.
Okay.
So our most recent build out is in the Port Maria area. And if you know from recent history, Port Maria has a history of flooding. Regular rains and they flood. Yeah. So they are low-lying area, very vulnerable to flood waters, and one of those areas where, based on the distant history, they have shown that we'd have a significant wave action, whether it's through storm surges or tsunami-like waves coming in.
We're surrounded by water. God forbid we do have a tsunami. Where would it come from? Or would that depend on where the earthquake was situated?
Definitely. It depends on where the earthquake is coming from. And so you want to understand that, yes, we're surrounded by water, but depending on the location, north, south, east of, west of us, that will determine where those waves will be coming from and how to treat with that when you hear these alarms go off.
You have any idea how far inland it could reach? Because again, it will depend on the severity of everything, right?
Far inland is it's dependent on the magnitude of the earthquake, one, and two, what barriers we have, coastal, and otherwise coming inland, how flat you are.
All right.
So that's why the drill is to run, to get as far away from the coast as possible and as high up as possible.
Okay.
So you want to be high and far.
All right. That sound is an earthquake. So
yes.
Let's talk about that now.
So with the shake, definitely.
Let me start with that. We have a wheelchair here.
Yes.
Because I say abled with a difference, but we have different people, earthquake. So tell me about that. Someone sitting in a wheelchair, here comes the earthquake, what happens?
All right, so we want to treat with this carefully. Person sitting in a wheelchair, you want to quickly lock the wheels. So you want to get around to making sure that these are open, they are closed, so that the chair doesn't roll away. Now, if you are the person who is responsible for somebody in a wheelchair, you want to protect them if they are unable to protect themselves. So if they can move their hands, then you want to tell them to put their hands over the head like this and just do like that in forward. And at the same time, now, you as the person who have that responsibility would not leave them. So you would crouch where they're at, and you'll also do the duck cover hold just to make sure that you cover your head and your spine and you remain in place. Right. And you're keeping a watch. Should the chair start to move, you can hold
it. Before we lock it, we're at home. Is there an area that we could try to get to quickly before we lock it, or wherever they are, just and deal with it right?
Usually wherever they are, depending on if they are near any object that may fall over. So you don't want to be beside any bookshelves or what we call whatnot, or these cabinets that are not fastened to the wall. And if they are next to the window, you move them from the window.
Okay.
So no windows, no glass, no mirror. You'd move them from
What
those
about
places.
this door jam that we keep hearing that you must go on?
All right, so
that is still.
Yes, it is still a feature if it is a reinforced. So you know the door jams that have either the steel, the metal framing or wood, and those usually help to shore up that area. It's one of those parts of the houses that are safest. But if you have one of those that is not built like that, it is advised that you go under your desk.
We have a baby here. Talk to me now about if you do have a young child.
All right. So first of all,
Clive, by the way, in case you're joining us for the first time, you've never seen this man before. I don't know if he has any experience as a father, but and he doesn't look the part, actually. But in a serious way. Let's not.
So during the shake, because you know it will startle the baby or young child that you have. So you want to take them to you, keep them as close to your chest as possible, right? In the same breath that you have them there, you're gonna crouch down to the ground. Yes, all the way down, and at the same time, you're going to use one hand to hold the child and the other one hand over your head, and you stay as low as possible until the shaking stops. Now, if there's a desk or table you can go under when you crouch down, then we'd advise
with the baby.
Yes, you go with the baby. If you can fit, oh, Clive, I don't. he's fitting. Right. And then, of course, this is small, so he'll hold the baby and balance himself underneath until the shaking stops.
Okay.
Once it stops, then and you feel comfortable that there's no more shaking, you would exit from there, and then you exit the building in the safest manner. Because sometimes going through the front door may not be the choice, and you have to take another route, but you want to exit safely. And that being said, it's because we don't know what happened during the shake, what's the vulnerability of the structure. And so you want to exit the building should anything fall afterwards. If you have any other minor shakes, aftershocks, you are not inside where things will collapse on you, and then we now have to go on the search and rescue.
What if we are outside? Yes. I'm at home and I'm outside already, and I feel a little shaking. What do I do?
Definitely don't go inside. Right? So if you're outside, you want to make sure you're not beside any object that may fall over on you. Once you're sure of that, you crouch down. You get as small as possible, just the same, and you use your hands to cover your head and your spine. And you stay small until the shaking stops. Now, reason we always tell you to crouch down is that because you're going to be losing balance, you don't want to be standing up and you fall over. That will be worse than if you're already very close to the ground and you shake and you roll over. There's a difference between rolling and falling. It will prevent serious injuries.
On the screen, drop, cover, hold on.
Yes.
That's the one. Number 2.
Right, drop, cover, hold.
Number 3, stay away from windows and glasses, you said. Number 4, do not run during the shaking. Hold on a little bit now. What you mean by do not run during the shaking?
All
because if I'm trying to get to the door jam and it's shaking, I mean, if you run, go to the door jam, I'm asking here.
All right. So we want you to move quickly, but we don't want you to run.
Why?
What happens when you run is that you are not cognizant of what is happening, and you may just run into something that is falling. Right? Or you trip over something that is not there. And we've seen it happen many times. Normal ground like this, you walk on every day, nothing happens.
And I'm being serious here. So the door jam is right there.
Yes.
And I feel it here.
Right.
And you're suggesting...
So I'm suggesting that you choose the easiest path to cover yourself. Now, if you have a table here, why are we running to the door jam?
We don't have a table.
Right, if we don't have a table, we don't have anything right here, right, and the door jam is the safest place, then we want you to move quickly there, but we don't want you to run. Don't run.
It's interesting.
Right. And what is also interesting is that if you are a father or mother and the child is in the other room, right? And we know you're going to panic, daddy mode and mommy mode will come in. And your instinct is to get to the child as quickly as possible. Again, we say we don't want you to be running. Right? So yes, you'll move to the child if it's a baby that you have to take to. If it's a toddler that can follow instructions and you want to tell them from where you are to duck and cover and stay in the corner wherever they are.
Well, and you know that when the earthquake starts shaking, you talk about don't run.
It is the hardest thing.
And my child is in the room and I'm concerned.
Right.
I am going to get there before you see and bolt. You know that?
I mean, that is the tendency of everybody.
But in a serious way, we are suggesting do not.
Right. We want safety first. Because the thing is, you'll be running to get the child and you trip over and you hit your head and the child is left.
Yeah.
by themselves, can't do anything. So we want you to get to them, but we don't want you to be in a panic to get to them. That is the important part.
We've been hearing these things for many, many moons, but is ODPEM concerned that we really and truly don't know what to do in an earthquake, or you think we do, but we might panic and don't know what we're supposed to do?
I think it's a bit of both, because people, even though you hear it, you may have done a drill once or twice, we don't do it enough. So we panic during that time. So when we had, not the most recent one before, because I've been to many churches especially, and the members ran out of the church when the shaking was happening. And it's not because they didn't know what to do, it's just that they panicked in that moment. So what we want to say to you is that in your businesses, in your schools, in your churches, wherever you are, practice the drills so it becomes part of you.
Very well explained, but final question, you never mentioned a bed. Some of us at home will have a glass dining table. You certainly don't want us to go under the glass.
No glass at all.
So what about, you don't go under bed?
All right, so there are these two schools of thought. If you're in the bed, and especially if you're in the bed with a child, you're told to remain in the bed, use your pillows and stuff to cover you and the child.
Don't go under.
Right, no. One of the things is that, and a lot of different responders will tell you that under the bed is a very big thing for them. That's where they find a lot of persons that may be trapped. It can be a safe place, but it depends on where in the building or the room that is at. So some schools after we say go under the bed, it's safe. Others will say stay on the bed. But especially if you have a child with you, you stay on the bed. Say again?
What is the best practice here?
So the best practice for us is to get off the bed and get as low as possible crouching beside the bed.
But don't go under.
But don't go underneath the bed. It may be a trap. Should the earthquake happen.
And certainly don't go under your glass dining.
Oh, no, stay away from anything glass. Right. Glass, mirrors, all of those stuff, windows, stay away from them.
Thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you much.
And hopefully we won't have to do any of what you just told us because we won't have an earthquake.
No, we hope that we don't have any.
We pray.
We pray. Even though we have shakes right throughout the year. Remember, this is not just in the January to March period. Earthquakes happen right throughout the year.
Oh, there's an earthquake period?
Yes, we have an earthquake period where that's why we normally celebrate January to March. Yes.
I didn't know.
But definitely we have had those. And so we have to make sure that we practice our drills right throughout the year so that this is something we become comfortable with and it becomes second nature.
I agree with that. Marlon, I just learned something. I didn't know there was an earthquake period. Northeast Region Coordinator, Mr. Marlon Brown. Thanks for coming, sir.
Thank you.
Coming up next, BGLC's customer portal. Sim will have that one. Soon come.